G'day Huppeteers, Jeff here, and I'm bringing you Medal of Honor. This is the first that's going on the Huppet channel, and I've got a few tips that I want to share with you. You can see the rest of the videos on my channel, so please go over to Saspin Jr., link in the description, and subscribe. So I want to talk about smoke grenades. You can actually cook them, so when you throw them, they will explode in the air. There are various uses for doing this, so have a think about what you can use it for, but for me personally, I like throwing it over the top of an area where there might be a hill or snipers that could cover not only the bottom of a hilly area but also the top. So by throwing it in the air, you can actually affect their line of sight. Now this person's obviously not from Huppet because I have no idea what he's doing, and knifing a rock, unless he's trying for some sort of exploit, I have no idea, but I just marked that spot for you guys in case you see something strange going on in that area. I've seen two people now knifing in that area in separate matches, so I'm not sure if something's going on with that, but please let me know in the comments if you find something along those lines. So when shooting down, I want to rewind what I'm doing here. When shooting down a line, I'm focusing on what I'm shooting at, obviously, which is right ahead of me. However, I use the environment, and when I need to reload, I use the environment, and I cast my attention to another area, which is this sniper rock area. You can have people come from most sides of that rock except for the utmost top. So I move back using the cover, reloading, and cast my attention to another area so that I can change to that if needed. Along those lines, I also do something else with shooting that we'll bring up later, and that is if I am in Medal of Honor, if I come out and I have two potential targets, I try to move to use the environment so I only have one target, and I did that just there. I moved backwards because I saw there was two targets there. With this, when you're not running a suppressor, the muzzle flash is a dead giveaway. It's very hard to see where people are in this match. The lighting is very good for hiding, and if you stay still, it's very hard to find someone. So when there's a no suppressor shot coming from the gun that I'm currently using now, it gives your position away far too easy, and you take pot shots at the muzzle flashes. And there's an example of a muzzle flash right there. So I'm just scanning the horizon. I'm just trying to get used to the threat areas, and that's an exact example of what I was talking about. I had two possible options. I used the cover, moved out of the way, and then started shooting at the person above me. Getting that kill was a simple case of using the minimap, and I did so. Putting the intel out there keeps us going, so make sure you pay attention to whether the intel's out already. You don't want to put two intels out if your teammate's done so. And what I have noticed is that currently a lot of the teams I'm playing aren't using intel. So for that fact, using a suppressed weapon might give you an advantage at the initial stages of playing this game, so you might want to give that a go. Even though it reduces your damage and range, the guns are still pretty good at long range with the suppressor, so give it a go, and I'm sure you'll be surprised. I like posting up on this rock in defense for Chinook down, and go for the Chinook ret, and it's once the defense has pushed forward past this rock, I like to post up in front of that rock. One of my favorite things to do is use mostly defensive actions all the way up until the last one or two of the score chains, and the reason for that is that they're just so powerful offensively, you can get quite a lot of kills from it and rack up your points. And just speeding up the deployment here, that time does not move quicker on my PlayStation. So people have asked again, is it worth getting? I'm absolutely loving the campaign mode. I think it's a very good story. It's going to pass the time well. I'm sure there's going to be new maps out there. I do have the limited edition, so I believe there are supposed to be some extra maps out there. There's still some issues with teaming up, but if you use the same clan tag, it apparently works. So right there, I used the smoke to actually choke out the line of sight, and by doing so, it allows me to move to this other rock here. A lot of people run the assault kit, and they're not using smoke effectively. It can be used for numerous reasons, and one of which is I'm about to show in later on in the video. Actually, we'll get to that later because I'm gonna put two videos of the Chinook wreck down for you guys to see, and we'll use the full 15 minutes of YouTube here, just so you can see two different approaches for attacking this map or attacking the defense of this stage. Now, the offensive team don't get past this stage at all. So it's, yeah, it will show you two different versions of how I defended this map for the first, I think I've played this map maybe 6 times now. But I have a fairly good feel for the flow of the spawns and where the enemy's going. So usually if you choke up this area down here, people will spawn to the top section and vice versa. And if you can post yourself up here with you and teammate, you can really devastate what's happening here, because remember, the frontline spawn is what gives you an advantage to get back in the battle sooner. However, if you frontline spawn and you're being trapped, or the offensive team are just annihilating you guys one by one as you spawn in, make sure you spawn at the back line or spawn back at base, because that just gives you that opportunity to get out of that lock. I've seen far too many times, I see non-huppeteers just spawn and die, spawn and die, spawn and die, and it becomes quite comical. So you might want to keep an eye on that. Offensively, you can do the right thing to produce multiple kills and build up score chains from people being spawned in. That's also one of the bad things about it, and that is that sometimes you'll spawn in and then a score chain offensive action will kill you, and it might happen 2 or 3 times by the same person as they run their score chains. Talking about score chains, you might see that I have match ammo, and I'm going to talk about that later. I'm not going to put it out just now, but as it comes out later and I spawn in, as your score chains build up, if you use a defensive action, you get a set amount of points. And those set amount of points generally far outweigh what the offensive action will give you in the form of a score chain. And by building up those score chains and helping out your team, you can really solidify the win. Whereas if you are purely doing it for the kill-death ratio, you can find that your team could get pushed back to a point where your offensive chains aren't giving you the kills because you can't get the line of sight. Because it is dangerous to use those offensive ones. You've got to go out into a line of sight to use most of them, except for the rockets and some of the user-controlled score chain attack actions. And I lost my train of thought there, but getting into the open to use those chains aren't necessarily a guarantee of building up to the next chain. You might want to notice there as well that I had a smoke grenade kill. There is a small charge that explodes there. But now that I've actually died, let's talk about score chain maximization. Those fixed points that you get for the defensive maneuvers, they increase over time. So there's match ammo that immediately gives me intel. Then I can hit intel. My mistake right now, however, is I should not go back to match ammo. I should then go to rocket. Now, by using match ammo again, it gives me further points, but it doesn't give me as many points as it can if I use it at the start. So I believe it gives you 70, and then the intel is 30, and I use match ammo again. Something that I've noticed as well, that's smokers, so I could move over out of danger's way. Something I've noticed as well is what I mentioned before. If intel's up, I find that sometimes my teammates will throw intel up, or if match ammo is handed out, then they might hand it out again, and it doesn't double up, it just only applies once. Some people think match ammo is handing out ammunition itself, but that's not true. Match ammo is a factory produced match grade of ammunition, which is better, and it allows you to kill from what I can see, it allows you to kill the enemy with perhaps one less bullet. And that's a big improvement over the beta. The one less bullet is that now with the released version of Medal of Honor, when you're getting shot at, you have a chance to get out of harm's way. Unless it's the sniper. The snipers, yes, they are a little overpowered, but they're fun to use, and it's fairly easy to choke them up when you've got some assault guys throwing smoke. So I went 14 and 5 there. A few silly deaths, but that's not too bad for a team. And in this match, even though I'm bringing it to you and the game was about to end, I really had to leave because I had an appointment that I had to keep, and I just had to get out of the house as soon as possible. But with that, I'll show you another opening as well. I ended up doing fairly well in this, and I know the team was going to win when I left. There was only 5 deaths left. You can see we got 90 kills left in the bottom left, or 87 to go. One thing I wanted to point out is that when I spawned in, and you may want to rewind it, you can see it now, but the blue square for the defending area is pulsing. When it's pulsing, guys, that means that you've actually got the enemy in there. And if there's just you and, say, 2 enemy just sitting in the area, you will still have a loss of the defending area. Whatever you lose, you never gain back. So the offensive team just has to keep getting within the warning marker area that's on the minimap to reduce that defending area time. So it's very critical that you actually have someone who stays in or near the defending area and has at least equal or more than the attacking team. So remember, when you are seeing it pulse, get to it, and that's exactly what I did when I spawned in. So in terms of the defensive chains, I've said it before at the start of this video, but I think it's beneficial to use them all the way up to the cruise missile, potentially defensive that is, and helping your team out will solidify the win in most of what I see. The flak vests, they're exactly what they say they are. It helps you take an extra bullet as well, so it counters the match ammo that the other team might have. So that's also beneficial, considering match ammo is pretty easy to get. So for this, I decided to try out a new tactic in staying near the actual defending area for the majority of the match, and it works out okay. The only thing I don't like about doing that is how obvious it is. I mean, when people stand in the defending area, you generally have snipers and whatnot looking over to where that defending area is. One thing I have noticed with Medal of Honor is that if you peek around corners or over hills, you're generally going to get sniped out. It's obvious as well that when you're near a corner, it's very easy to see your body against the sky or other artifacts. So you might want to use smoke and shadows and other forms of cover to be able to ensure that you're not going to get sniped. And there it was just a classic case of me being overrun by a lot of people. I had a lot of options to shoot at, and a non-suppressed gun shooting is very easy to shoot back at. Usually I don't make the same mistake twice, so I just go back up there for my revenge kill, and then I'll choose another area to escape. That's what I would generally do unless I'm raging, and that doesn't happen too often. So I think that's right, I do pop around to another corner. So again, you'll see me use some smoke to my advantage come up here. I mentioned it in the first match. But with the grenade launcher, the splash damage for smoke grenades, for normal grenades, if you're running special ops or sniper, and also the grenade launcher on the assault gun, isn't very powerful. The splash damage is pretty small. So to use it effectively, you have to be very good with your aiming, and you have to be almost out in the open to get a line of sight to shoot at, right? So I use smoke, and then I use the launcher. It's a technique that I've been trying. I haven't got a good example of it yet, recorded that is, but at my best attempt I did get a triple grenade around a corner, just similar to what you're looking at here. So maybe give it a go. You throw some smoke and it allows you to pop out of cover and use your grenade launcher. So I've noticed the grenade launcher's arc of fire is different to that of Battlefield. It's not exactly the same, and I've found the same with the smoke grenades and the grenades themselves. So there is a little bit of a learning curve, even though DICE made the multiplayer in this match. As I mentioned before, I'm really digging the single player. I haven't finished it yet, but there's some really good elements in there, like controlling vehicles and the Apache gunner position and whatnot, and it was quite fun. Well, it's been fun so far. So as you can see with the defending area, as I mentioned, there's no way you can actually rank it up. I only threw that smoke out there then as a defensive action so I could reload, because it looked like, or I felt like there was a lot of people coming up this area, so I felt like we were under attack. Managed to get a few kills by doing so, but that smoke didn't do any good for us. Here's an example that I wanted to show that you have to go out into a dangerous area to use an offensive action as part of your score chain. That was just very, very bad placement for me in the end. But defensive is, I think, is the key. So why don't you guys leave a comment and tell me what score chains you like using personally, and your successes on them, and perhaps any tricks that you guys might know that will help fellow Helpeteers out. I also wanted to talk about when you make a play group with your buddies, and then it splits you up into separate teams. So it's been tested a few times and it seems to work now, but if you're running the same clan tag, it generally keeps you in the same team. I've never seen it split the team up. However, when you're not running the same clan tag, I've seen it quite often split the team up. So please also leave a comment about whether that works for you, so that we can actually get a fix for this. One thing that really annoys me though as well is that you can't talk to everyone in the lobby. It's almost like they said, oh, we don't want people to talk in the lobby because they might be cussing each other out, or talking smack, but whatever. Anyway guys, that's the end of the match, and until next time, see ya.